All the voices you are about to hear come from the head and face of
Damien Slash.
Damien Slash.
This is Mad Lad Davey with his incredible new album, Bloke in the Shower, including the hit singles Girls Just Wanna Have Fun, Skinny Love, and the #1 smash hit, Inaudible Gabble. Mad Lad Davey's brand new album, out now.
So Harry, what do you make of today's performance?
Well, you know, at the end of the day, when all's said and done, you know, you win some, you lose some, and that's the way it goes. And so it swings and roundabouts, really. But it takes one to know one, and you don't know what you've got till it's gone. So, you know, let bygones be bygones, and each to his own. If you ask me, when you're calling the kettle black, you get what you give. You know what I mean? And so today is a two-way street when you get down to it. And we weren't born yesterday, so it's better the devil you know. When where there's a will, there's a way, as far as I can throw it. And you wouldn't want to touch it with a 10-foot bars pole, but you don't have to eat the old chicken to get a flavour of the bird, which might have been a fate worse than death. But between you and me and the best post, it's beyond the pale, and the writing's on the wall if we're thinking outside the box. So, you know, to all intents and purposes, the truth is stranger than fiction. Two heads are better than none, and when in Rome, do as the Romans do. Only fools rush in, and that's what football's all about.
Damien Slash.
This winter, Idris Elba is taking on the system from the inside. Starring Idris Elba as Idris Elba in Idris Elba 2, The Ascendance of Idris Elba. Co-starring Idris Elba as the FBI agent he vowed to expose.
It's Idris Elba. He's pulling all the strings. But sir, why would you admit that? If I don't stop me, nobody can.
And Idris Elba as the only person Idris Elba can trust.
How do I know I can trust me? Me as in you, or as in me? God damn it, Idris! I am you! Then there's only one way to end this. No! Idris!
3 very similar men, 3 very similar performances. To become Idris Elba, you must become Idris Elba.
As an internationally respected name in the financial industries, keeping physically fit is the key to not dying of cardiac arrest should I fall foul of an ambush audit from the Panamanian tax authorities. And so to keep my blood from becoming too gelatinous, I regularly attend underwater yoga classes at the Shard. As the classes are always oversubscribed, slipping into the writhing biomass of naked CEOs and hedge fund managers requires well-oiled thighs and a keen elbow. But once we're all stacked like gammons in a shoebox, the muscular regeneration workshop kicks off with a whistle. Being suspended from the ceiling by a man-sized baby harness allows the attendees to flip and contort beyond what would normally be considered humanly possible. Despite the odd toe in the mouth or chin up the crack, the sessions often play out in a sloshing, scrotum-exposing fashion. Hanging upside down in the grey, fungus-infused water floods the brain with a torrent of blood for increased focus and decision-making. For this reason, many of us opt for the use of an extendable rubber snorkelet. There's nothing quite like conducting an inverted, underwater and totally inaudible strategy meeting with your toes wrapped around your colleague's only air supply. When you feel yourself passing out, you know you've strayed off topic, i.e. profit. The jacuzzi is where I really like to unwind, and here I prefer to let the bubbles do the talking. That is, unless it's bonus season, in which case I'm usually joined by my unpaid intern Gregory, who's always keen to earn a few LinkedIn reviews for sanding down my corns.
Good night, Dad.
Nighty-night, son.
Damien Slash.
MasterChef. Searching for Britain's best amateur cook.
Cooking doesn't get tougher than this.
To secure her place in the final, Sunitha has made a super injunction, using an unnamed Premiership footballer on a bed of escorts, served with an anonymous sauce.
Full of flavour, very spicy, exactly what I expect from a super injunction. Wonderful stuff. I love it.
The day that Britain voted to leave the EU was the saddest day of my adult life. As I type these words on my MacBook Air, I'm sat in a zip car full of French musk vape smoke outside my new build live workspace in Maida Vale, waiting for my Deliveroo chicken burger to arrive. and making ironic posts about Italian fashion bloggers on Instagram, aka an ordinary guy just like you. The night before the result, I finished off a tepid Rooibos tea, recycled some old G2 magazines, and went to bed confident that we had the referendum result locked down. However, on the morning of the 23rd of July 2016, I woke up at 11:30 a.m. and turned on my Kindle Fire in order to check the results on Huffington Post. Seeing the results for a brief second, it was almost as if people outside the M25 had no interest in me, my lifestyle, or my colossal sense of entitlement. Even where I was born in Hampstead, the long arms of gentrification have cost our community its fair share of dignity. Just last week, despite a scathing article by local activist Bill Nye in the Ham and High, yet another outlet of Joe and the Juice replaced our last independent pottery emporium. Unsurprisingly, this generated a great deal of anger and resulted in a modest but plucky protest march all the way from Haagen-Dazs to Karen Millen. I was forced to confront a terrible vision of our nation, a topsy-turvy, nightmarish reality in which not everyone visits the same web sources as me. Democracy is not always the answer, precisely because the people are nearly always wrong. It takes more than a GNVQ in PE and an STI to determine the best path to our desired planetary ideal. For that reason, I believe a second referendum should be held, with the minimum requirement for participation being at least a 2-1 degree with honours in either the humanities or the sciences from a red brick university or higher, at least a minimum of 700 Instagram followers, and a working knowledge of at least basic homeopathic nutrition. As I draw this article to a close, it's clear my Deliveroo driver is also losing patience with the system, mainly because he's been waiting for more than an hour for me to open the door. However, I still believe, as the day I did before 7/16, that with enough retweets, petitions, flash mobs, and above all, silent discos, we can and we will make our country great again. Whoops, sorry man. Thank you so much, smells amazing. Bye.
Damien Slash.
And as captain, what would you have done differently today?
Well, when the push comes to shove, you know there's no rest for the wicked and you do what you can, but hand on heart, when the hens come home to roost, you can't have your cake and eat it. And, you know, if you know you're going to hell in a handbasket, it's worth making a note that a fish rots from the head down and nobody lives forever. So it's 6 of one and half a dozen of the other, really, when push comes to shove. But, you know, when all else fails, the female of the species is deadlier than the male. Even a broken clock's right once a day. And, you know, when the fat lady sings, there's an elephant in the room, and that's why we got dragged through our heads backwards and threw the baby out with the bathwater in more ways than one. And that's what football's all about.
Oh, you're right, darling. You wouldn't be able to give us a hand with this suitcase, would you? Weighs more than a pig in a barrel, and I've done my coccyx in doing the dark. So...
Oh, no, sorry. I've broken my arm, sorry.
What, not even halfway down? Ever give you a tangerine?
I literally can't move my arm. Maybe you could ask him.
Well, how about you give it a kick for us then, just to get the ball rolling?
I really don't think
Oh, yeah, you know, since they put the old crap set in, he can't really do it anymore, do you know what I mean? You go down Dinky's dugouts these days, nobody says 2 words for a packet of crisps, and I thought, tell you what, though, pulling the rug off the wall, nobody thought nothing about it, do you know what I mean? Sliding the globe round and looking at if they can find Argentina next week, and I thought, like, switching the windows round so nobody can tell who's looking in or out, and I thought, if anyone's going to be doing anything these days, it's going to be looking poppers off the floor like it's confetti at a wedding, do you know what I mean? Last time I was at a wedding, I saw Christian Blakely doing cartwheels like somebody had thrown 2 pears and a pineapple out, and I thought, tell you what, mate, you've got to do that again and go back and rig yourself a new light bulb. Do you like to catch all pigeons, you know what I mean? And I've raised baby pigeons for 2 weeks on a Sunday and they come out looking like lizards. Anyway, you're right, I'm jabbering on, and you need a bit of Prince Charming to get your travel luggage down the stairs.
Sorry, but these are your bags. You asked me for help.
No, you let me get them for you, darling. You can't leave your lug and these tug boys down a vertical slope. You wait here and I'll pop them down the apples and pears fast as you can say,
Oh my God, are you okay?
Sorry, John, I can't hang about. Got a round of tennis with a couple of blokes from the BBC and I got jiu-jitsu started in 25 minutes. See you later, mate.
Damien Slash. Master Chef, searching for Britain's best amateur cook.
Cooking doesn't get tougher than this.
Diane has made a mountain out of a molehill, served on a bed of wild exaggerations and a garlic and onion dip.
It's impulsive, it's unnecessary, completely over the top, but your garlic and onion dip is a delight. Well done. I love it.
Slash. Man chatting so much breeze about Christmas. I don't even know what Christmas mean no more. Do you get a man named Nicholas, born on a cross, turn a glass of wine into a pie or some shit? I don't even know no more. It's generosity time. Time to show your love for your fam via the age-old strategy of buying some more shit that you don't need. Don't you be a Scrooge now. I swear down, Christmas cracker, basically the ultimate symbol for the whole of Christmas, do you know what I'm saying? I cannot think of a more depressing way of coming together as a family than putting on a toilet tissue hat and playing tug of war over like 2 plastic cufflinks and a psychic fish. Shut your mouth, psychic fish. You don't know about me. Seriously though, Christmas trees. I swear down, at any other point in time, you bring a tree into your yard, people will think you are mad. That shit is bookie, fam. You put a Christmas tree in your yard at any other time of year, a man will be calling social services, do you feel me? Man put a tree in his yard in December, no man bats an eye. You put a sofa in the park at any time of year, and they be accusing you of being a psychic rapist murderer. And for what? So you gotta drag that shit out of the door a week later, like you done murdered Mr. Okie Doke, and then watch that shit rot on the street for 3 months as a constant reminder of the twisted bullshit you actually believed in. No, allow the trees, fam. Enough of that. And I got no time for no man wearing the Christmas jumper like it's still ironic. It ain't ironic if you do it every year, blood. That's the opposite of irony. You ain't funny, you ain't getting to the spirit, you're just trying and failing to make yourself slightly less of a basic prick. And then we got that Christmas food, and it's like, turkey. What? There's a reason why man don't eat turkey on the other 364 days of the year, like. That's because turkey tastes like man done boiled a rug in sand. I could not design an animal to look more like a scrotum if you took my scrotum and used stem cell research to make my scrotum grow another scrotum, do you get me? I'm chatting about duck, fam. Crispy duck.
So, more optimistic for next season then?
Well, you know, you don't teach your grandmother to suck eggs if you're cutting your nose off to spite your face. So you've got to count your sheep when the course of true love never did run smooth from one bishop to another, when the pitch was cold enough to freeze the balls of a brass monkey and charity starts at home. So I'm looking on the bright side and counting my blessings because you can't always get what you want and it does take 2 to tango. So do you know what I mean? By hook or by crook, the game was won and an apple wouldn't melt in his mouth. It could happen to anyone 9 times out of 10. We're all in the same boat this side of a blue moon. That's all I've got to say in the matter, and that's what football's all about.
Damien Slash.
I am me. A man. A serious one. Moving through fields and towns. Qualified. Reasonably fit. And capable of financing a small family and transporting them all from A to B. The features of this car are interchangeable with my masculine provider identity. Shielding. Understated. Silver. Humiliating to other fathers. Totally unnecessary to my family's requirements. I am the owner of a serious man car, 4x4 edition. What is to drive? To defend. To disrupt. To deride. Deliver. Dispose. Despair. Dumbfound. Diminish. Direct. Dampen. Tilly-tally. Climb into my man womb. My mobile cave. My silly little me wagon. All car. All man. All man car. Car of man. Manly car. Man, men, me. Please look at me. My seed. My pile of sticks. My winky. Serious man car. 4x4 edition.
The Damien Slash mixtape was written and performed by Daniel Barker, with guest appearance by Natasha Dimitru. The producer was Matt Strong. It was a BBC Studios production.